This is my poster on the media coverage of female athletes. The difference between male and female portrayal of sports was quite surprising. Female athletes were not only less likely to be portrayed in the media, but when they are, it is very limited coverage. Most female athletes that are covered by the media do not have their power or strength on display, but rather their feminism. Females that are also shown in the media are also more likely to be shown performing in an individual sport rather than a team sport, as well as being more passive than active in any photos that might accompany the media story. The men are more likely to be characterized as being more athletic and committed to their sport than their female counterparts. The media coverage of athletes is dominated by males, and females are not getting the attention they deserve. So the name of the newspaper I studied to gather information on the coverage of male and female media coverage was the Idaho Press Tribune. The articles I chose to look at were regional stories that mainly focus on high school sports. Because of COVID and all of the restrictions that have been going on in Idaho, especially with collegiate sports, it was a lot easier to find high school articles because there's more of them and they're easier to access. So the majority of the articles I studied came from the online website for the Idaho Press Tribune. So the method in which I conducted my research and gathered my information was by reading the sport articles on the Idaho Press Tribune website for the past week. I would read the article and make notes on the content of the article, as well as the length and whether a photo or not was included in the article. And with that, the research that I conducted, I was able to create these three graphs shown here in the middle. So the first one is article content. So over the past 7 days, 10 of the articles that I read were talking about male sports, while only 6 covered female sports. For a grand total of 16 articles in the past 7 days, mainly of which were talking about male sports. So this second graph I have here is a pie chart, which is showing the length of the articles. So here in this kind of yellow color, there we go, sorry. 7 of the male articles that were posted on the Idaho Press Tribune were fairly long and wordy articles. However, in this green color here, you can see that only 3 of the female articles were considered long. And there was 4 female articles that were short. Mainly, these articles actually mainly were just statistics and little tidbits about what was going on in the female sports world. And then only one in this kind of, I don't know what to color to call that, like only one of them only one male article was short in length, and that was also just giving statistics and sports updates from the night before. And then on our last graph, this bar graph down here, is photo content. And unfortunately, not every article on the website had a picture shown with it. But of the ones that did, 6 of them were of male sports, and only 1 article contained a photo of a female athlete. So my results, when I was looking at the content of the 16 sport articles that were posted in the past 7 days on the Idaho Press Tribune website, these articles were mainly about male sports. 10 of them talked about male sports, while only 6 talked about female sports and their athletes. So we can see a pattern develop when looking at the length of article as well. Male athletics tended to have a longer article than what female athletes did. Only 3 female athlete articles were considered long, and it was combined articles. It wasn't just versus the males, it stuck to one story. The female athlete long articles bounced from different stories to combine into one article. And then we can also see that when looking at the photo content of these articles, is the biggest margin of difference, in that 6 male articles had photos of male athletes, while only one of the female articles had a picture of a female athlete on them. So even here in Idaho, we can see the difference between male versus female representation of the sports. And then my conclusion is that through the process of collecting data, I discovered the peer review articles that were talked about in my introduction were mainly correct. When concerning female athletics, not only did they not get the same amount of coverage as male sports, they were not represented very well either. The beginning of the week was predominantly female sports. However, these were short articles that mainly consisted of statistics of the sport and no photos. Then as we approached the end of the week, the articles transitioned to more male sports that included photos of the event with male athletes. I think part of this shift might have been because of the high school football games that come on Friday night. But even then, we can see that here in Idaho, we see the difference in male versus female representation of in the media. And then here in the bottom corner are my references in which I got my introduction and the Idaho Press Tribune website as well. And that is my poster.